Hello guys, so welcome dito ulit sa ating YouTube channel. Ito na yung start ng final term natin. So let's start yung ating college algebra sa quadratic equation. So by the way, before tayo nag-start na rin ako mag-video about trigonometry. So probably makikita mo na rin yung playlist ng trigonometry. So watch na rin doon kasi kasama rin talaga sa ating topic this final term yan. Okay, so let's start. This is quadratic equations. So what is quadratic equation? So quadratic equation in one unknown. So an equation in one unknown, say in x, which can be reduced to the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So ulitin ko lang an equation in one unknown, so say in x, so unknown lang niya is x variable, so which can be reduced to the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a and b and c are constants and a is not equal to 0. Tandaan, kasama sa definition, pag yung a is not equal to 0 tapos second degree equation siya in x, meaning x squared, known as quadratic equation. So therefore, yun yung ating quadratic equations. Okay, so ulitin ko lang, si quadratic equation, si ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So as long as siya ay one variable, tapos merong second degree equation siya, so second degree equation siya in x or in any variable, basta isang variable lang siya, therefore siya ay quadratic equation. Okay, so another thing, dapat nandun din yung equal sign. So hindi naman necessary na dapat laging 0 yung nasa right side. Okay, so ito yung example niya. Example ng isang quadratic equation is, so examples. So let's say we have 3x squared plus 2x is equal to negative 5. That is a quadratic equation. Okay, note that itong part na yan, yung ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Ang tawag dyan is standard form. So meaning, kung ito yung ating equation, yung 3x squared plus 2x is equal to negative 5, ulitin ko, siya ay yung variable x tapos second degree. So kung gusto ko siyang gawing standard form, ito yung magiging form niya. So this is 3x squared plus 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so ayan yung kanyang standard form. So SF na lang lagay natin. So standard form. Okay, next is ano yung mga value dyan, ay identify natin. So ito rin yung dapat matutunan nyo. Dapat ma-identify mo ano si A, ano si B, ano si C. So in this case, ano yung A? A natin dito is 3. Tama? B natin dito is 2. Kasi yun yung first degree. Then yung C natin, is equal to 5. So dapat isa rin yun sa mga maintindihan nyo about dyan sa quadratic equation. So ulitin ko lang ha. So hindi lahat ng quadratic equation dapat naka-equate sa 0. So quadratic equation na may tuturing yan. Ang tawag lang pag naka-equate sa 0 is standard form. Another example, so dito ko na nalagay. So let's say meron akong x squared minus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so obviously that is x squared minus 5. So siya ay quadratic equation. So one unknown kasi x lang, then second degree, x squared siya. So another thing, sir, siya po ba ay standard form? Yes, siya ay naka-standard form kasi pwede natin siya i-rewrite as ganito. Lagay ko na lang. So pwede ko siya i-rewrite as ganito. This is x squared plus 0x minus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so siya ay in standard form pa rin naman. Next, ilagay natin yung A. Ano yung A? A is 1, obviously. B is 0. And C is negative 5. So, ang tawag naman pala dyan, so pag ang B, so whenever, lagay ko na lang dito, when B is equal to 0, so ano magiging form? We have ax squared plus C is equal to 0. Ang tawag dyan is incomplete quadratic equation. Okay, tandaan nyo ha, pag yung B is equal to 0, that is ax squared plus C is equal to 0, ang tawag dyan ay incomplete quadratic equation. So, ang tawag dito sa part na to, ito ay incomplete quadratic equation or quadratic equation na lang. Okay, yan lang naman ay other term sa kanya. Okay, so let's start. Kasi ito naman yung focus natin eh. So, solution. So, last time, nag-solve tayo. Puro linear lang in form. So, ngayon, more in x squared na. So, kung nag-2 variable din ako, so, in-expect nyo, nakalagay yung 1 unknown. So, probably, mag-2 unknown din ako dito. So, may mga solution dyan. So, pag-usapan na natin. So, solution of quadratic equation. So, ito muna. May manipulation muna. Gawin natin. Kasi iti-check ko rin after that. So, let's have example or examples. Number 1, solve the equation 2x squared minus 5 is equal to 0. So, paano yan? So, rewrite ko lang po. So, this is 2x squared. So, this is 2x squared minus 50 is equal to 0. Okay, next is transpose na lang siguro si negative 50. So this is 2x squared is equal to positive 50. Then divide both side by 2. So that is 2x squared over 2 is equal to 50 over 2. Okay, then cancel to. So this is x squared is equal to 25. Obviously, pag tinik natin yung square root both sides, so anong result niyan? So taking square root both sides, this is x is equal to positive and negative 5. Okay, so dalawa yung value niya kasi nga naka second degree tayo. So expected natin na dapat dalawa yung value na lalabas sa isang variable. Okay, so ganito yun ha. Kunyari, x lang siya. Meaning, isang value lang ina-expect ko na lalabas sa value na x. Pero kung naka-x squared siya, probably dalawang value siya yung lalabas. Kung naka-x cube, tatlong value dapat yung lalabas. Ngayon, i-check natin kung mayroon extraneous root sa part na to. So, box ko lang yung sagot. So, sir, ano extraneous root? Extraneous root, ito yung mga roots or yung mga solution ng ating quadratic equation or ng equation na kung saan lumabas siya upon solving. Tapos nung lumabas siya upon solving, nung isinubstitute mo siya by checking, anong nangyari? Hindi siya nag-equal. Meaning, siya ay solution, hindi siya solution, pero lumabas siya upon sa solving natin. Ganun nangyari. Ulitin ka lang ha. Hanapin mo yung extraneous root. So, possibly, dapat i-check mo siya by dun sa dalawang value. Tulad na ito, let x equal to 5, let x equals to negative 5. So, ito yung checking. Gawin ka na ibang kulay. So, ito yung checking. Okay, so for x is equal to 5, so positive 5 muna. So, that is 2 times positive 5 squared minus 50 is equal to 0. Okay, next is that is 25 to kasi 5 squared is 25 times 2, 50. So, this is 50 minus 50 is equal to 0, which is 0 is equal to 0. Okay, so tama tayo dun sa part na yun. Next is when x is equal to negative 5. So, when x is equal to negative 5, so this is 2 times negative 5 raised sa 2 minus 50 is equal to 0. So, negative 5 raised sa 2 is 25. 25 times 2 is 50. So, this is 50 minus 50 is equal to 0, which is 0 is equal to 0. And that's a check. So, therefore, walang extraneous root. So, therefore, ang solution ng x natin o yung values ng x natin ay positive and negative 5. Yan yung ating mga value. So, ito yung gagawin nyo lagi. Dapat i-check mo, mag-check ka palagi. So, kahit hindi ko i-required, mag-check ka kasi possibly may extraneous root doon. Tandaan yan. Ilagay nyo rin dito. Okay. Next. Number 2, find the roots of 4x squared plus 64 is equal to 0. So, recall ko lang before tayo mag-start dito. Recall na yung square root of negative 1, sinabi ko na to 1 times sa example, is equal to I. Okay, so probably kasi magkakaroon tayo dito na square root of negative something eh. So, ipapasok ko na lagi si imaginary although hindi ko pa siya discuss. So, ulitin ko lang ha, pag nagkaroon ka ng square root of negative 1, automatic siya ay I. So, pag in-square ko siya both side, so this is another thing and I squared is equal to negative 1. So, yan ay recall lang. Nagawa naman na natin last time sa mga previous video yan. Okay, so start na tayo dun sa ating given. So, if we have 4x squared plus 64 is equal to 0, so rewrite lang ni sir. So, that is 4x squared plus 64 is equal to 0. So, this is equal sa 4x squared is equal to negative 64 kasi pag tinranspose positive, magiging negative. Then, divide both side by 4. So, this is only x squared is equal to negative 64 over 4. Or 4 over 4 dito. Pwede naman yun. Okay, then x squared is probably is equal to negative 16. So, ito yung sinasabi ni sir. So, pag in-square root ko yan, so probably sabi mo, sir, wala po sa calculator, math error. So, sabi ko nga, dahil i-define ko na to, gagamitin na natin. Whenever nagkakaroon ng negative sa loob, nagalagay ka na ng I. So, in this case, ano magiging result dyan? That is x is equal to square root ng negative 16. Okay, then pwede ko siyang paghiwalayin. That is x is equal to square root of negative 1 times square root of 16. Tama naman, kasi lagi ko lang hinihiwalay sa negative 1. Note that negative 1 is I, and square root of 16 is positive and negative 4. So, therefore, the value of x is, this is positive and negative 4i. kasi I doon. So 4 dito, positive negative po, tapos I. Ngayon, hindi ko muna siya i-box kasi mali yung naging diskarte ni sir. Dapat pala mamaya muna i-box kasi baka nga meron tayo extraneous root eh. So ito yung lagi mong gagawin. So by checking, lagay ko na lang dito. So checking. So whenever x is equal to positive 4i, okay, then substitute natin dyan. So this is 4x squared, 4 times 4i raised to 2 plus 64 is equal to 0. Okay, note that this is 4 times 16, no? That is 4 raised to 2 is 16. I raised to 2 is I squared. Okay, then plus 64 is equal to 0. Note that I squared is negative 1. Okay, so probably this is negative 16. So this is 4 times negative 16 plus 64 is equal to 0. So this is negative 64 plus 64 is equal to 0, which means 0 is equal to 0. Okay, so therefore si positive 4i solution. Ngayon, check natin si negative 4i. So what if si negative 4i? So x is equal to negative 4i. So that is 4 times negative 4i raised to 2 plus 64 is equal to 0. Okay, so paano yan? That is negative 4 raised to 2. So negative times negative, that is positive. So this is 4 times 16 I squared pa rin po sir, plus 64 is equal to 0. Tama no? Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. I times I is I squared. So this is equal, so I squared is negative 1. Ganun ulit. So this is 4 times negative 16 plus 64 is equal to 0. So obviously ganun din mangyari. So this is negative 64 plus 64 is equal to 0, which means that 0 is equal to 0. So therefore, negative 4i is also a solution. So therefore, pwede ko na siya i-box. So therefore, the solution of the equation 4x squared plus 64 is equal to 0 is positive and negative 4i. Okay, so ganun gawin mo, i-box mo after mo ma-check probably. So hindi ko rin naman kailangan ng checking mo. Yung checking mo probably sa scratch na lang para at least ma-verify natin. Otherwise, nakalagay talaga sa tanong na hanapin mo yung kanyang check or check mo yung value. Ganun yung gagawin mo talaga. Okay, so let's start naman. So ito, yan ay mathematical method lang. So kumbaga, algebraic way lang na na-solve ko. So wala pa akong technique na ginawa. So there are 3 technique para ma-solve. So number 1 is by factoring, or letter A is by factoring, letter B is by completing the square, letter C is by quadratic formula. So familiar kayo doon. So yung tatlong yun na i-discuss natin sa mga susunod pang video, or dito yung factoring, tapos hindi ko sure kung hanggang saan susunod dito. Okay, so let's have A. So solving a quadratic equation by factoring. So naglagay na ako ng steps para hindi tayo mahirapan. Although kung may sarili kang technique gawin mo, bahala ka. Basta ako may sarili akong step. Okay, so steps in solving a quadratic equation by factoring. So reduce the given, so number 1, reduce the given equation to standard form. So tandaan na, ano yung standard form? Sir, standard form is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So meaning dapat naka-equate siya sa 0. Number 2, factor the left side. So meaning yung left side lang yung gagawin natin. Number 3, equate each linear factor to 0 and solve the resulting linear equation. So sa other book, ang tawag sa kanya is zero product property. So maintindihan mo yun mamaya. Kasi yung gagawin mo, ipapactor mo siya. So na pinactor mo siya, magiging dalawang linear na siya. Magiging dalawang linear equation na siya. Tapos i-equate mo siya by 0. So may tawag doon. That is, tawag dito, that is zero product property. Ano yun? Lagay ka lang dito. So zero product property. So dito na lang lagay ni sir. So zero product property. Okay, so ano ba sabi ni zero product property? So whenever meron akong A times B is equal to 0, so na dalawang factor yan. So pwede kong gawin ganito. A is equal to 0, tapos ginuguhitan, B is equal to 0. So equate ko yung dalawang linear factor by 0. So that is zero product property. So yun yung sinasabi ng 3. Next is check the result to discard extraneous roots if there are any. So yun yung sabi ko, check the result. So hanapin mo nga, i-check mo muna para ma-disregard mo extraneous root na ayaw natin. Okay, so let's have example. So number 1, find the roots of x squared is equal to x plus 42. So ito yung unang tanong. Siya ba ay nasa quadratic, siya ba ay nasa standard form? No po sir. So probably ang gagawin muna, gawin natin siya in standard form. So this is x squared is equal to, i-rewrite ko lang, x plus 42. Okay, next is lagay natin lahat ng values o ng mga variable saka constant sa left side. Tira natin sa 0 lang dyan. So that is x squared minus x minus 42 is equal to 0. Okay, now ito yung technique by factoring. So factor the left side of the equation. So isipin mo, negative 42. Ito yung mga technique na lang. Negative 1 yung gitna, negative 42 yung dulo. So mag-iisip ka ng dalawang number na kung saan ang product is negative 42, ang sum negative 1. Ganun na lang yung technique. Ulitin ko nga, mag-iisip ka ng dalawang number na kung saan ang product is negative 42, tapos ang sum is negative 1. So ako, ang naiisip ko, sir, si negative 7 saka si positive 6. Tingnan nyo nga, si negative 7 saka si positive 6. Negative 7 times positive 6 is negative 42. Negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. So, therefore, exacto yung naisip ni sir. So, ikaw, masasanay ka na kasi familiar ka naman sa ganito. So, that is x minus 7, then x plus 6 is equal to 0. Okay, ngayon, ito yung tinatawag din number 3. Equate each linear factor. So, by zero product property na mangyari dyan, so that is x. So x minus 7 is equal to 0. So semicolon na lang. X plus 6 is equal to 0. So sa other book kasi semicolon. So pwede naman guhit din kung nalilito ka. So therefore, what is the value of x? X is equal to 7. Another x is equal to negative 6. So therefore, nahanap natin yung value next. Ngayon, before natin i-assume na yan na talaga yung value next, syempre by checking, i-check natin kung tama yan. So by checking, doon ka sa original equation, hindi doon sa standard form. So dito ka sa original equation. So by checking, so lagay ko na lang checking. So masipag din si sir, naglalagay ng iba-ibang kulay. So whenever x is equal to negative 7, sorry, positive 7 pala yun. Okay, so another thing, dapat mag-iingat na rin sa sir. So, dito tayo, no? So, that is x squared is equal to x plus 42. So, this is 7 squared is equal to 7 plus 42. Okay, that is 49 is equal to 49. Which is true. Next is, kunin natin si x is equal to negative 6. So, whenever x is equal to negative 6. So, this is negative 6 raised sa 2. Is equal to negative 6 plus 42. Okay, so this is 36, positive 36. Next, 42 minus 6 or negative 6 plus 42. May trust issue ako sa computation ko. So that is positive 36 din. Okay, so therefore the values of x are ito. Box ko na lang dito. Itong part na to. Tapos okay, kasi nga, okay naman sa dalawang value. Okay, so let's have another example dito sa ating solving quadratic equation by factoring. Okay, so another example, we have x squared minus 14x is equal to negative 48. So, unang tanong, siya ba ay naka-standard form? No po, sir. So, unang gagawin, lagay natin siya sa standard form. So, rewrite ko lang muna ulit yung given. So, nahihirapan kasi magsulat sa sir. So, this is x squared. So, this is x squared minus 14x is equal to negative 48. Tama ba? Then, syempre, lagay natin sa kanya yung standard form. So, this is x squared minus 14x plus 48 is equal to 0. Next is, syempre, i-factor natin yung ating left side. So, isip ka ulit na, isip ka ng dalawang number na kung sana yung product is 48, ang sum is negative 14. Ulit, isip ka ng product is positive. So, meaning, dahil negative yung gitna, positive yun. So, dapat dalawang negative to. Okay? So, ang naiisip ni Sir yan ito, si negative 6 saka si negative 8. Si negative 6 times negative 8 is positive 48. Negative 6 plus negative 8 is negative 14. So, eksakto yung naisip ni Sir. So, this is equal sa x minus 8. So, kahit sino mauna, x minus 6 is equal to 0. So, gawin ko yung other form ng zero product property. So, by zero product property, x minus 8 is equal to 0. X minus 6 is equal to 0. Therefore, the value of x are x is equal to 8 and x is equal to 6. Okay, so ganun ulit. Lagay natin checking. So, by checking, ano ba yung ating result nito? So, checking, lagay ko lang dito. So, sorry kung tumatagal din tayo sa checking. So, sa checking, so whenever x is equal to 8, so that is 8 squared minus 14 times 8 is equal to negative 48. So, yun na nga. Calculate na naman si Sir. Calculate lang si Sir ha. That is 8 squared. So, that is 8 squared. That is 64. So, 64 minus 14 times 8. 14 times 8, 112. This is 112. So, may trust issue kasi ako sa computation ko. Next, 64 minus 112 is negative 48. So, this is negative 48 is equal to negative 48. So, therefore, si x is equal to 8 is value ng ating roots ng ating quadratic equation. Next is yung isang value. So, bilisan ko konti. So, this is x is equal to 6. So, this is 6 squared minus 14 times 6 is equal to negative 48. So, this is 36 minus 14 times 6. That is 84. Okay, so that is 84 is equal to negative 48. So, check ko na lang sa calcu. 36 minus 84. That is negative 48. Okay, so this is negative 48 is equal to negative 48. Okay, so therefore, ang value ng ating x are 8 and 6. So, ito yung dalawang value niya. So, napansin mo, no? Iba yung ginawa kanina semicolon, ngayon naman guhit. Kasi dahil yan kasi alam ko eh. Pero na-discover ko sa ibang book, ginagamit pala nila semicolon. Okay, so let's have number 3. So, find the roots of 4x over x minus 1 minus 3x over x plus 2 is equal to 6x plus 6 equals x squared plus x minus 2. Okay, so kung napansin mo, ang gagawin natin dito, i-reduce muna natin siya. Kumbaga, i-simplify natin siya. So, i-multiply natin siya sa certain equation or sa certain sa LCD niya, I mean. So, multiply sa LCD niya. So, in this case, x minus 1, x plus 2. Yung x squared plus x minus 2, ito din yan, yung dalawang yan. So, in this case, ang LCD dito, so, lagay ko na lang ang LCD dito is si x minus 1, tapos si x plus 2. So, ang gagawin ko, skip ko na yung method na yun. Ang gagawin ko na lang, i-multiply ko na siya by term. So, una ito, x minus 1 times x plus 2, multiply ko dito, ang mangyayari. So, this is 4x times x plus 2. Okay, then minus 3x times x minus 1. Kasi ganun yung pagkakamultiply ko. Then, equals, so, obviously, mawawala lang to kasi cancel lang pag minultiply. So, that is 6x plus 6. Okay, then kindly simplify din dito. So, distribute natin si 4x sa x plus 2, si 3x sa x minus 1. So, this is 4x squared plus 8x minus 3x squared plus 3x. So, I think naman wala na akong na-misplace. So, equal to sa 6x plus 6. Next is simplify natin muna yung left side. So, this is 4x squared plus 8x minus 3x. So, 4x squared minus 3x squared is x squared. Okay. Then, 8x plus 3x is 11x. Okay. Then, transpose. This is minus 6x minus 6 is equal to 0. So wala naman na yata ako na misplace or miscompute. Next is this is equal, o yung quadratic equation na form natin, this is x squared plus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. So by factoring, mag-isip ka ng dalawang number na kung saan is product is negative 6, tas yung sum is positive 5. So ang naisip ni sir dito directly is si positive 6 sa kasi negative 1. Bakit? Positive 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Positive 6 plus negative 1 is positive 5. Okay, so this is x plus 6, then x minus 1, which is equal sa 0. Okay, then by zero product property, so this is x plus 6 is equal to 0, then x minus 1 is equal to 0. So x is equal to negative 6 and x is equal to positive 1. Okay, so before natin yan gawin, syempre i-check natin. Pero syempre medyo mahaba na rin kasi nga baka tumagal din yung video. So try ko lang tingnan din sa book kung ano yung tamang solution. So kayo na lang din mag-check kasi tumatagal din yung video. Ayoko rin patagalin. So i-check ko na lang din kung ano yung tamang sagot dyan. Hindi ko sinasabing tamad ako kasi medyo mahaba yung video o yung discussion. Ayoko nang patagalin. Okay, so sabi dun sa book, tsaka solution dalawa, so walang extraneous. Okay. So in this case, si 1 is extraneous root. Okay, sabi dito nakalagay, ayun sa book. So since 1 is an extraneous root, the only root of the given equation is negative 6. Okay, so sabi daw, si 1 daw is extraneous root. So check natin yun. Ayoko kasing ano natin. So ibabox ko to ha. So tama na daw tayo kay negative 6. Ito lang daw yung solution. Okay, so ngayon i-check natin kung bakit nga ba extraneous root si 1. Okay, so whenever x is equal to 1, okay, so substitute na natin agad dyan right away. So that is 4 times 1 all over 1 minus 1. Ayun nga. Okay, then minus 3 times 1 over 1 plus 2 is equal to sa 6x plus 6 all over, this is 1 squared plus 1 minus 2. So itong part na to kasi is undefined kasi ang mangyayari dito, this is 4 over 0 minus 3 over 3, this is 1 is equal to 1 to. Okay, so 6 times 1 plus 6 is 12, no? So that is 12 over 0 then kasi 1 plus 1 minus 2 is 0 then. So note that any number divided by 0 is undefined. So in this case, this is undefined. This is undefined. So kung duda ka, check lang natin. So ika, so that is 4 over 0. Not error. Okay, pero yung ganito, 0 over 4, that is always 0. So any number, o basta yung denominator mo is 0, automatic siya ay undefined. So tandaan yun. So therefore, kaya nga si x is equal to 1 is extraneous. So x is equal to 1 is extraneous. Extraneous root of nung equation natin. Okay, so ganun yung extraneous root. Lumabas siya upon solving, pero nangyari, nung sinubstitute ko siya by checking, siya ay hindi equal. Or I mean, nag-undefined or probably hindi nag-equal. Ayun yung mga possible scenario or cases dyan eh. Okay, so therefore, x is equal to 1 is not a solution of this. But negative 6 is the solution. So hindi ko na-check, kayo na lang bahala mag-check about that. Okay, so ganun si factoring. So ulitin ko lang ha, may 4 step tayo. Una, i-gawin mo siyang standard form. Pangalawa, after mo may standard form, i-factor mo yung left side kasi dinadala naman natin lagi sa left side. So after ng factoring, gagawin mo naman is by zero product property, then find the value of x. So before ka mag-box ng sagot mo, siyempre i-check mo. So whether walang sinabi na may mag-check ka or hindi, ang gagawin mo, i-check mo. Kasi yun yung one of the requirement talaga dito para mahanap mo yung value na totoo. Kasi nga, nag-exist talaga si extraneous root. Okay, then lastly, ayun na nga, after mo ma-check, so doon ka magde-decide kung kunyari, sir, possible po ba, ito yung tanong, no? Possible po ba dalawa extraneous root? Kunyari, yung dalawang value, lumabas extraneous root. So kunyari, ganun yung nangyari, dalawang value is extraneous root. Therefore, yung quadratic equation has no solution. Okay, so lagay mo lang no solution. Tulad nung nangyari ka sa linear equation last time. Okay, so let's have letter B. So, unang na-discuss ko is by quadratic by factoring. So dito didiscuss ko na rin sa video si completing the square. So lalagyan ko rin siya na siyempre ng steps. So steps on solving a quadratic equation by completing the square. So number 1. So ito naman nangyari, no? So reduce the equation to the form ax squared plus bx is equal to c. So ito naman nangyari. Ang gusto ko naman mangyari, yung constant part niya mapunta sa right side. Ganun yung gagawin. Next, divide both members of the equation by the coefficient of x squared. So let's say dito, so di-divide ko yung buong equation o yung lahat ng term, so meaning yung term na to, yung term na to, yung term na yan, by a. So ang magiging result parang ganito. So parang ganito na naging result yan. So that is x squared kasi dinivide ko by a plus b over ax is equal to c over a. Ayun yung result ng number 2 na yan. Okay, next. Add the square of the 1/2 of the coefficient of x. So ulit add the square of the 1/2 of the coefficient of the square. Yung coefficient nung x natin, coefficient of x natin, to both sides to both sides, so make the left member a perfect square trinomial. So ito yung technique kaya completing the square. Ang gagawin ko, kukunin ko yung b over a, tapos sabi niya, add the square of 1/2. Ito ka, add the square of the 1/2. So ito yung mangyayari. So this is x squared plus b over ax is equal to c over a. So may i-add ako. Add the square of the 1/2. So anong gagawin natin? Yung b over a, ito yung gagawin. Diba ito si b over a. Kukunin ko na yung 1/2 niya. So ang 1/2 niya is 1/2 times b over a. Tapos, square. So meaning naka-square pa. Okay, so this is equal sa b over 2a raised sa 2. So yung lalabas dyan, i-add natin sa parehas na yan. Okay, so ayun ang goal kasi para maging perfect square or perfect trinomial yung left side. Okay, next is factor the left side as a perfect trinomial square or perfect square trinomial. Ayun nga, since nga nag-add tayo ng ganun, kasi magiging perfect square trinomial to eh. So since naging perfect square trinomial siya, ang gagawin ko lang, siya ay x squared plus something, then ayun na yung sagot. Okay, next is take the square root of both sides of the equation. So after ko ma-factor, so magiging result kasi nun is something na hindi ko kasi malagay in symbol dito. Kasi parang may uunahan ako na topic. So i-square ko lang siya both sides. So let's say ganito yung lumabas. Kunyari lang ha. So let's say x plus b over 2a tapos naka-square equal to sa c over a plus something kunyari b squared over 4a squared. I-square ko na yung both side. Okay, take the square root. So square ko to, square root ko to, square root ko yan. After nun, solve the resulting linear equation. So ang gagawin ko, after ko may square root yan, may square root ko to, yung b plus 2a transpose ko sa kabila. Kasi nga, solve ko yung value ng x. Ganun yung mangyari. Okay, so I think mas maintindihan mo siya through example. Okay, so let's have example. Ito na. So, number 1, solve 2x squared is equal to x plus 3. So, step by step natin gagawin yan. So, una gawin natin siyang ax squared plus bx is equal to c. So, meaning yung x lilipat na natin dito. So, this is magiging 2x squared, minus x is equal to 3. Okay, then divide both side or divide both member by 2. So meaning, divide ko to by 2, ito by 2, ito by 2. So ito mangyari, this is divide by 2, so this is x squared na lang minus x over 2 is equal to 3 over 2. Okay, ngayon, kukunin ko yung coefficient ng b bago ako maglagay. Kasi ganito yung mangyari, iaabang lang natin. So ganito mangyari, so this is x squared minus x over 2 plus blank is equal to 3 over 2 plus blank. Okay, ngayon, kukunin ko, isasolve ko yung form na yun. So that is b over 2a square. So ito yung b. Yung b natin, yung b over 2a natin, ito na yun, yung negative 1/2. So ang gagawin ko, i-multiply ko na siya by 2 ulit. So i-multiply ko siya by 1/2. So ang mangyayari, i-multiply ko by 1/2 or i-divide ko by 2. Tapos i-square ko. So ulit ko lang ha. Dito yung b dito is negative 1/2. Yung sabi na add the square of the 1/2. So meaning i-multiply ko to sa 1/2. So, multiply ko by 1/2, tapos naka-square. Ano result? That is negative 1/4. Tama. So, negative 1/2 times negative 1/2. So, negative 1/2 times 1/2 is negative 1/4. Negative 1/4 raised to 2 is positive 1/16. Tama. So, meaning, mag-add ako dito ng 1/16 plus 1/16. Okay, next. Itong part na to is, ano na siya, ay literal na siya ay, ano na, tawag dito? Perfect square trinomial kasi 1/16 na. Ngayon, ipapactor na lang natin yan. Anong gagawin? Square root ko to, square root ko yan. So, ang gagawin ko lang, square root ko yung x squared, x. Square root ko yung positive 16, that is 1/4. Tapos, minus yung gitna, so therefore, that is minus 1/4. Tapos, naka-square. Equal to sa 3/2 plus 1/16. 3/2 plus 1/16. So, pakita ko na lang. Ayun, sabi sa 3. That is 25/16. So, lagay ko nandito. This is 25/16. Okay, next is sabi, take the square root of both sides. So, meaning square root ko siya. Square ko siya both sides. So, this is x minus 1/4 is equal to square root ng 25/16. Sad na wala square root. Kasi square root ng squared is mawawala lang. Next, this is x minus 1/4. X minus 1/4 is equal to positive and negative kasi ni-square root ko yung number. So, that is 5/4. Okay, then transpose ko lang. So, this is x is equal to positive 1/4 tas plus minus 5/4. Dalawa ibig sabihin yan. Yung una, ito. Yung una, 1/4 plus 5/4. Yung pangalawa, 1/4 minus 5/4. Ang sagot dito, 6/4 or 3/2. No, ang sagot naman dito is 1 minus 5 is negative 4/4 is negative 1. Okay, so therefore, yung value ng x natin dalawa, 3/2 and negative 1. Ngayon, i-check natin sino extraneous root. Wala na kasi akong time. Ngayon, ganun ulit eh. Solve the linear resulting linear equation, then i-check kasi nga baka may extraneous root pa rin tayo. Okay, so check ko lang din para makuha natin. Ayun, so sabi nga niya, yung 3/2 saka negative 1 is hindi extraneous root. So pareha silang value. So therefore, the value of x are 3/2 and negative 1. Or ganito mo ilagay. Parang mali yata yan. That is 3/2 and x is equal to negative 1. At nga x sub 1 and x sub 2 eh. Yung roots. So, ito lang yung medyo tricky dyan. Yung kukunin ko yung b is negative 1/2. I-multiply ko by 1/2, tapos kukunin ko yung square, tapos i-add ko both sides. Tapos, dapat complete perfect square trinomial siya doon. Okay, so let's have another example. Ito na yung number 2. So, find the roots of 3x squared minus 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. So, medyo mahirap din mga given ko. Hindi ko rin in-expect. So, ang gagawin natin, syempre, i-transform natin siya into form ax squared plus bx is equal to c. So, ito yung siguro yung maaaring tanong mo dun, no? Dun sa ginawa ko. Sir, ax squared plus bx is equal to c. Pero po, dito po, anong nangyari po, sir? Yung standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Pag tinaspose ko po si c, that is negative c. Bakit hindi po negative c yung nakalagay dito? Again, that is only a constant. So, a representation of constant lang yung c na yan. So, whether it is negative or positive, wala tayong pakialam dyan. Constant lang siya. Okay, so baka kasi matanong nyo ako about dito. Sir, ba't hindi po negative c? So, hindi negative c yan. Hindi ko kinoconsider. Basta ito lang yung form. Basta lang, yung constant dapat nasa right side. Ayun lang naman yung ibig sabihin yan. Okay, so in this case, ito na gagawin natin dito. So, transpose ko yung 2. So, this is 3x squared. So, this is 3x squared minus 2x is equal to negative 2. Next is divide natin both side by or lahat ng member by 3. Kasi 3 hindi dito eh. So, pag dinivide ko to by 3, that is 1 na lang. Dinivide ko by 3, ito ay negative 2/3. Ito ay negative 2/3. So this is x squared minus 2 over 3x is equal to negative 2 over 3. Okay, so yun, forma ulit lahat yung gagawin. So this is x squared minus 2 third x plus something is equal to negative 2 third plus something. Okay, so yun ulit, kukunin ulit ni sir si negative 2 third. Dito ko na lagay sa kabila, sayang kasi yung space. So si negative 2 third, i-multiply mo by 1/2, tapos i-square mo. Yan lagi yung gagawin, kasi yun yung coefficient doon. Okay, so negative 2 third times 1/2, that is negative 1 third. Tama? So that is negative 1 third square, so which is equal sa 1 over 9. Okay, so therefore mag-add ako dito ng 1 over 9, then 1 over 9. Next, kunin natin yung perfect square trinomial. Since minus yung gitna. So, una sir, ito ay x, kasi square root of x squared is x. Square root ng 1 over 9 is 1 third. So, that is minus ko dito. So, this is minus 1 over 3. Tapos, lagay ko lang ng square. Okay, then, add lang natin tong sa right side. So, add lang ni sir. So, that is negative 2 over 3 plus 1 over 9. So, pakita ko na rin. Okay, that is negative 5 over 9. So, ito na, shout out na rin sa calcu. So, kung may ganito ka calcu, mas advantage kasi may fraction. Mas madali. So, that is negative 5 over 9. By the way, bigay lang sa akin yan. Sana all, no? So, bigay ng graduate na 4th year. Dami kasi function nito, by the way, may integral or something. Ang dami kayang gawin. Nag-segue, patuloy ako ng calcu. Sorry ah. Next is, ang gagawin natin, syempre is, iti-take natin yung square root both side. Tama, iti-take natin yung square root both side. So, this is x minus 3 is equal to square root ng negative 5 over 9. So, ito yung medyo tricky. Sir, may negative na naman po sa loob ng square root. So, probably po, dapat po, sir, may I na mag-exist. Yes, yun yung mangyari. So, ito yung gagawin natin muna before tayo mag-transpose. So, this is x minus 1 third is equal to yung 9 perfect square. So, yung 1 over 9 perfect square siya. So, ang gagawin ko lang, pag-iwahiwalayin ko na ha. So, ito yung negative 1 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 1 over 9. Tama lang naman, no? So, negative 1 times 5 times 1 over 9, negative 5 over 9. So, bakit ko hiniwalay? So, negative 1, ang square root niya is I. Ang square root ni 1 over 9 is 3, 1 third. Okay? So, meaning, ano magiging result niyan? Ang magiging result niyan, that is x minus 1 third is equal to, may I, tapos 1 third, no? So, this is positive and negative 1 third I. Tapos, may square root of 5 pa na matitala sa loob. So, huwag kalimutan na positive, negative. Okay? So, therefore, the value of x are, so, x is equal to, positive na 1 third na lang, tas positive minus 1 third I square root of 5. Or, pwedeng ganito siya. So, x is equal to, since similar naman ang denominator, so, this is 1 positive and negative I square root of 5 over 3. Pwede naman yan. Okay, so ngayon, check na natin kung sino yung extraneous root dyan. Kaya na din bahala, hindi ko na ibabox. Ako na mag-deliver sa inyo ng solution. So, ikaw na rin magsabi, ikaw na maglagay sa notes mo kung ano dyan yung extraneous root, ano dyan yung roots. So, kung roots yung dalawa, good luck. Okay lang. So, ito yung sagot, no? Una, x of 1. So, 1 plus I square root of 5 over 2. X of 2, o yung another x, 1 minus I square root of 5 over 3. Ayan ang dalawang value. Ikaw na lang mag-box ano dyan yung sagot. So, check mo na lang din. Or kung gusto nyo, i-check ko. Hindi ko sure kasi kung gagana kasi yung I dito. Sige, check ko lang. Try natin. So, that is 3, no? That is 3. Tapos, x squared, no? So, lagay ko yung value. Let's say ito, 1 plus I. Ito ay 1 plus, nasan yung I? Ay, ewan. Hindi ko kasi makita yung I. Sorry guys. Pero may I to eh. Hindi ko makita yung I. Ay, kayo na lang. Ayoko na. Ay, nakita ko na. Shift I, alpha. Ayaw talaga. Kailangan natin naka-mode na complex. Sorry, sayang. So, kayo na lang mag-check. Hindi ko na ma-check. Nakalimutan ko na kasi i-mode tong calc. Hindi ko na rin kasi yung nagamit-gamit. So, ulit ka lang ha. Substitute mo to doon. Substitute mo to doon. Tapos, kung sino yung maglabas, mag-equate sa 0. Therefore, ayun yung kanyang root. Okay, so, hindi ko sinasabing may isang extraneous dyan. Okay, possible na sila dalawa solution. Possible na hindi solution yung dalawa. Possible na isa lang yung solution dyan. Okay, so, that's all for this video. Sorry kung natagalan. Okay, at least ang naging focus natin is i-factoring sa completing the square. So medyo mahirap siguro dito si completing the square kasi nga may ganito siyang form. Pero at least kaya niyo yan. May tiwala ako sa inyo. Okay, so thank you. So hoping na papanoorin mo yung next video natin.